Welcome to Audiobooks. Immerse yourself in the world of stories, ideas, and knowledge, all through the power of audio.
Book title: How to Control Your Mouth, Mind, Mood, and Money. Chapter 1. The Power of the Tongue. When people hear the word control, their mind usually jumps to rules, restrictions, or limitations. But in reality, control is freedom. Control means you no longer live as a slave to impulses, emotions, or careless habits. And one of the first areas where control can either make or break your life is your mouth, your speech, your words, the things you say without always thinking. Words are not small things. They may seem invisible, but they carry weight. A single sentence has started wars. A careless phrase has ended marriages. A cruel word has driven people into depression. But on the other side, the right words have healed broken hearts, inspired entire nations, and changed the direction of someone's future forever. If you look back over your own life, I guarantee you can remember words that cut you deeply, words that lifted you up, and words that still ring in your memory even years later. That's the power of the tongue. And the truth is this: most people don't control it. They speak without thinking. They blurt out in anger. They gossip when they're bored. They exaggerate when they want attention. They say yes when they should say no. And over time, these words build a reputation. And that reputation either opens doors or closes them. Words as seeds. Think of words like seeds. Every time you open your mouth, you are planting something. Some words grow into trees of trust, respect, and opportunity. Other words grow into weeds, resentment, regret, broken trust. The challenge is that most people are sowing seeds without awareness. They're scattering words carelessly, not realizing the garden they're creating around them. Ask yourself, what kind of garden have your words built so far? Do people associate you with encouragement, honesty, and wisdom? Or do they associate you with negativity, sarcasm, and constant complaining? Because here's the truth: your words create an atmosphere around you. They can either make people want to draw closer or keep their distance. The silent damage of loose words. Let's be brutally honest. How many times have you said something you didn't mean only to regret it minutes later? Maybe it was an insult in an argument. Maybe it was a secret you weren't supposed to share. Maybe it was an emotional outburst at the wrong time. The problem is you can't take words back. Once they leave your mouth, they are out in the world. You can apologize, but the damage often lingers. It's like throwing nails into a wooden fence. Sure, you can pull the nails out later, but the holes remain. Loose words damage trust, and when trust is broken, relationships suffer. Your words are either building bridges or burning them. Control begins with awareness. So how do you begin controlling your mouth? It starts with awareness. You need to slow down and notice what you're about to say before you say it. That pause, even just a few seconds, can save you from regret. One of the simplest yet most powerful rules you can apply is this: think before you speak. Ask yourself 3 questions before saying anything. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If it fails all 3, maybe it doesn't need to be said at all. The art of speaking less. Here's a secret. Powerful people often say less, not more. Leaders, negotiators, and wise individuals know that silence has weight. Speaking less makes people lean in when you do decide to talk. Most of us waste words, over-explaining, gossiping, complaining, but restraint creates respect. When you speak less, your words carry more impact. So start practicing silence. If you don't need to respond immediately, pause. If you're tempted to gossip, stop. If you want to blurt out in anger, breathe first. Silence often says more than careless speech ever could. The connection between mouth and mind. Here's where things get deeper. Your words reveal your thoughts. The mouth is like a mirror of the mind. If you want to know what someone really believes or values, just listen to how they talk. If your speech is negative, critical, and fearful, it means your thoughts are the same. If your speech is uplifting, disciplined, and hopeful, it means your mind is aligned with growth. That's why controlling your mouth is not just about external behavior, it's about internal mastery. You're training yourself to think differently so that what comes out of your mouth naturally improves. Practical steps to control your mouth. Let me give you a few simple but powerful practices. 1. Slow down your responses. Don't rush to answer. A thoughtful pause makes you look more confident and gives your emotions time to settle. 2. Replace complaints with gratitude. Every time you want to complain, try to reframe it. Instead of saying, "This is terrible," try, "This is a challenge, but I'm learning from it." 3. Journal your words. At the end of the day, write down 1 or 2 conversations that didn't go well. Reflect on what you could have said differently. Over time, you'll train yourself to speak more intentionally. 4. Set verbal boundaries. Practice saying no without guilt. Saying too many yeses with your mouth often leads to stress, resentment, and even financial problems. Why mouth control comes first. There's a reason this book starts with the mouth, because if you can't control your words, it will be much harder to control your thoughts, moods, and money. Your speech influences your relationships, and your relationships influence your opportunities. Your words affect your own mind. What you confess, you eventually believe, and your speech often determines your mood. Complain and you feel worse. Speak gratitude and you feel better. Even your money can be tied to your mouth, because the way you communicate affects your career, your business, and your reputation. Final thought for this chapter. Your words are like a steering wheel for your life. Wherever your mouth goes, your life tends to follow. If you want to build respect, peace, and prosperity, it starts with controlling your tongue. So, before moving into controlling your mind, your mood, and your money, commit to this first practice. Speak less, speak thoughtfully, and use your words as tools for building, not destroying.
Chapter 2. Speak less, mean more. One of the most overlooked secrets of self-mastery is learning the art of speaking less. In a world where everyone is shouting, posting, debating, and rushing to be heard, silence has become a superpower. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. When you choose carefully, people listen more closely. And when you master restraint, you gain respect. Think about the people in your life who always talk too much. They overshare, interrupt, and dominate conversations. After a while, you've stopped listening to them, don't you? Now, think about someone who doesn't speak often, but when they do, their words land with power. That's the person who holds influence. The truth is, your words can either dilute your presence or amplify it. The difference lies in discipline. Why we talk too much? Let's be honest. Most people talk too much for the wrong reasons. Some talk too much because they're nervous and silence feels uncomfortable. Others talk too much because they crave validation, approval, or attention. And many of us over-explain out of fear that people will misunderstand us. But here's the problem. The more you say, the less impact each word has. The more you explain, the less confident you appear. And the more you chase validation, the less people take you seriously. Speaking too much often comes from insecurity. Speaking less comes from confidence. The value of restraint. Restraint is not weakness, it is strength. Choosing not to speak when you could is a sign of control. Think of it this way. The strongest person in the room is rarely the one shouting. It's the one who doesn't need to. When you restrain your words, 3 things happen. 1, you gain clarity. By pausing, you give your mind time to catch up with your emotions. 2, you gain respect. People begin to view you as thoughtful instead of impulsive. And 3, you gain influence. Because your words become rare, they carry more value. Restraint turns ordinary words into precious ones. Speak with purpose. Here's a rule worth remembering. Don't speak unless it serves a purpose. Before you open your mouth, ask yourself, am I informing? Am I encouraging? Am I correcting with love? Am I solving a problem? If your words don't fall into one of these categories, maybe silence is better. This doesn't mean you have to be robotic or emotionless. It simply means you value your words too much to waste them. Purposeful speech is efficient. It's intentional. It doesn't drain energy. It directs it. The power of listening. One of the best ways to speak less is to listen more. Listening is not just being quiet until it's your turn to talk. Real listening is paying attention, noticing tone, body language, and even what's not being said. When you listen deeply, you often discover you don't need to talk as much as you thought. Many conflicts happen because no one is truly listening, just reacting. But when you listen, you learn. And when you learn, you can speak less and say more. People are drawn to good listeners because being listened to feels like respect. If you want to influence others, start by listening more than you talk. The trap of gossip and empty chatter. Another reason we talk too much is gossip and empty chatter. Gossip feels entertaining in the moment, but it always weakens your character. When you gossip about others, people assume you'll gossip about them too, and that destroys trust. Small talk has its place. It can build connection, but constant small talk often prevents deeper conversations. If all your conversations are shallow, your relationships remain shallow too. To build depth, learn to be comfortable with silence. Silence creates space for meaning. Silence allows others to open up. And silence shows that you're not desperate to fill every gap with noise. Confidence in brevity. Confident people don't over-explain. They state their truth simply and let it stand. In fact, over-explaining often signals insecurity. For example, someone who feels the need to justify every decision with 5 reasons is usually afraid of judgment. But when you state something clearly and stop talking, it communicates strength. Brevity signals confidence. It tells people, I don't need to convince you. I've spoken my truth. That's enough. Try this experiment. The next time you explain something, cut your words in half. Say only what is necessary. You'll notice that people respect your clarity far more than your rambling. Practical exercises to speak less and mean more. 1. Pause before responding. Train yourself to wait 3 seconds before replying in any conversation. This pause makes your words more thoughtful and reduces emotional outbursts. 2. Set a word budget. Imagine you only get 100 words per day. What would you choose to say? Practicing this mindset teaches you to value each word. 3. Journal your conversations. At the end of the day, write down one time you spoke too much. Then rewrite what you could have said in fewer words. Over time, your natural speech will become sharper. 4. Practice silence. Spend 10 minutes a day in absolute silence. No music, no phone, no distractions. This trains your mind to be comfortable with quiet instead of filling every moment with noise. The ripple effect of measured speech. When you master speaking less, everything else in your life begins to shift. Your relationships improve because you're not constantly blurting out words you'll regret. Your reputation improves because people see you as thoughtful, not careless. And your opportunities expand because influence often belongs to the one who knows when to speak and when to stay silent. Speaking less and meaning more isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming intentional. It's about recognizing that words are precious currency, and you should never spend them carelessly. Closing thought for this chapter. The great philosopher Plato once said, "Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something." The challenge for you is this. Don't talk just to fill silence. Don't talk to impress. Don't talk to seek validation. Speak only when your words carry truth, kindness, or purpose. Speak less, mean more, and watch how your influence, respect, and peace of mind begin to grow.
Chapter 3. Mastering Difficult Conversations. No matter who you are, you will face difficult conversations. Arguments with loved ones, disagreements at work, confrontations you'd rather avoid. The truth is, most of life's problems are not caused by circumstances, but by the way we communicate about them. Think back to the last time you had a tough conversation. Maybe your voice rose, your heart raced, and you said things you didn't mean. Or maybe you shut down completely, avoiding the issue altogether. Both extremes, exploding or withdrawing, create more problems than they solve. Mastering difficult conversations isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about learning how to stay calm, clear, and controlled when emotions are high. It's about speaking in a way that solves problems instead of creating bigger ones. Why difficult conversations matter. Your ability to handle hard conversations will directly affect your relationships, your career, and even your mental peace. A single uncontrolled argument can destroy years of trust. On the other hand, a well-handled difficult conversation can strengthen a relationship and build respect. Here's the key. Difficult conversations are not battles to be won. They are bridges to be built. If you approach them with the wrong mindset, you create division. If you approach them with the right mindset, you create understanding. Control begins with your emotions. The first step in mastering difficult conversations is not about your words, it's about your emotions. When you feel attacked, your body shifts into fight or flight mode. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and your brain prepares for battle. In that state, it's almost impossible to choose wise words. That's why the secret is to pause. Breathe deeply. Slow down. Remind yourself, I don't need to win this argument, I need to understand it. When you calm yourself first, you gain the power to control the tone of the entire conversation. Emotions are contagious. If you're angry, the other person will likely get angry too. But if you stay calm, they're far more likely to mirror your composure. Listen first, speak second. One of the most powerful ways to control a difficult conversation is to listen before you speak. Most people do the opposite. They jump in to defend themselves, explain, or argue. But here's the truth. People don't really listen to you until you've felt they've listened to you. When you let someone fully express themselves, even if you disagree, you're not admitting they're right. You're showing respect. And respect softens defenses. Try this in your next difficult conversation. Instead of interrupting, nod, paraphrase what you heard, and then respond. A simple phrase like, "What I hear you saying is that," shows that you value their perspective. Once they feel understood, they'll be far more open to hearing your side. Choosing words that de-escalate. In heated moments, the wrong words pour gasoline on the fire. Accusations like "you always" or "you never" almost guarantee defensiveness. Sarcasm, blame, and insults may feel satisfying in the moment, but they create long-term damage. Instead, use language that de-escalates. Replace "you always" with "I feel like this happens often." Replace "you never listen" with "I need to feel heard in this." Replace "you're wrong" with "can we look at this another way?" Notice the shift. It moves from attack to collaboration. The power of tone and body language. Mastering difficult conversations isn't just about words. It's about tone and presence. A calm, steady voice communicates confidence and safety. A loud, aggressive tone signals threat. Likewise, crossing your arms or rolling your eyes shuts down dialogue, while leaning slightly forward and keeping eye contact signals respect. Remember this. People rarely remember your exact words, but they always remember how you made them feel. Knowing when to walk away. Sometimes the most powerful move in a difficult conversation is to pause it. If emotions are too high, it's better to step back than to keep pushing forward. You can say, "I value this conversation, but I think we both need time to cool off. Let's revisit it later." This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Walking away with intention prevents permanent damage from words spoken in anger. Practical exercises for mastering difficult conversations. 1. Practice neutral language. Write down common accusations you use, like "you always." Rewrite them into neutral statements. "I feel overwhelmed when I don't have support." Practice saying them out loud until they feel natural. 2. Role play with yourself. Imagine a difficult conversation you need to have. Speak both sides out loud, then adjust your responses to sound calmer and clearer. 3. Record and review. The next time you're tempted to send an angry text or email, write it out, but don't send it. Wait an hour, then reread it. Ask yourself, does this solve the problem or escalate it? 4. The mirror test. After a conversation, ask, if someone recorded this and played it back to me, would I be proud of how I spoke? If not, think about how you can improve next time. From conflict to connection. The ultimate goal of mastering difficult conversations is not to win, it's to connect. When you can stay calm under pressure, listen deeply, and choose words wisely, you transform conflict into understanding. Strong families, strong friendships, and strong businesses are not built by avoiding conflict. They are built by handling it with wisdom. Every time you master a difficult conversation, you strengthen the foundation of trust around you. Closing thought for this chapter. The next time you're pulled into a heated exchange, remember this. You don't have to match someone else's fire with more fire. You can be the calm in the storm. You can be the one who listens when no one else will. You can be the one who chooses words that heal instead of words that harm. Mastering difficult conversations doesn't just change the outcome of arguments. It changes the quality of your relationships, your peace of mind, and ultimately, your entire life.
Chapter 4. The Battlefield of the Mind. If your mouth is the steering wheel of your life, your mind is the engine that drives it. Every word you speak, every mood you feel, every decision you make first takes root as a thought. That's why the mind is the real battlefield. Your greatest struggles are not against people, circumstances, or even bad luck. They are against the endless stream of thoughts that flow through your head every single day. Some build you up, many tear you down. Research shows that the average person has tens of thousands of thoughts per day. The problem isn't the number, it's the quality. If your thoughts are mostly negative, critical, fearful, or doubtful, they will shape your life in that same direction. The question is, are you controlling your thoughts, or are your thoughts controlling you? The invisible war. Most people don't realize it, but their mind is constantly at war. On one side are empowering thoughts, hope, courage, gratitude, creativity. On the other side are destructive thoughts, fear, envy, anger, insecurity. The dangerous thing is that both sides feel equally convincing when they arrive. A negative thought doesn't knock on the door politely. It barges in, loud and emotional, demanding your attention. And if you're not careful, you let it sit down, unpack its bags, and take over your entire mood. You've probably experienced this. One small negative thought spirals into a storm. You think, I messed up at work today. That turns into, I'm not good enough, which turns into, I'll never succeed, all from one tiny seed of thought. This is the battlefield. And if you don't fight back, you lose before the day even begins. You are not your thoughts. Here's a life-changing truth. You are not your thoughts. Most people live as if every thought they have must be believed. But thoughts are not facts. They are suggestions. Some are true, many are false. Some are useful, many are destructive. When a negative thought appears, I'm a failure, nobody cares about me, I'll never change, you don't have to accept it as truth. You can question it, you can challenge it, you can replace it. The moment you realize that you are the observer of your thoughts, not the slave to them, you gain power over your mind. The cost of an undisciplined mind. An undisciplined mind is like a wild horse. It runs wherever it wants, dragging you along for the ride. If you let your thoughts run unchecked, they will pull you into anxiety, distraction, jealousy, or anger before you even notice what's happening. Think about how many hours people lose every week to overthinking, worrying about things that never happen, or replaying old arguments in their heads. That mental noise steals energy, focus, and peace. When your mind is out of control, your mouth, mood, and money soon follow. Negative thoughts lead to negative words. Negative words fuel bad moods. Bad moods lead to poor decisions, including financial ones. That's why controlling the mind is at the center of this whole journey. Awareness. Catching your thoughts. The first step to controlling your mind is awareness. Most of the time, thoughts run on autopilot. You don't even notice them. That's why you need to start catching them in the act. Here's a simple exercise. Throughout the day, pause and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Write it down if possible. You'll be surprised at how many thoughts are repetitive, unnecessary, or negative. Awareness gives you a chance to choose. You can't fight an enemy you don't see, but once you recognize a destructive thought, you can deal with it. Reframing. Turning the negative into the useful. After awareness comes reframing. Reframing is the practice of taking a negative thought and looking at it differently. For example, instead of, I failed, say, I learned what doesn't work. Instead of, this is too hard, say, this is a chance to grow stronger. Instead of, I'll never succeed, say, every step I take gets me closer. Reframing doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means choosing a perspective that empowers instead of paralyzes. Feeding your mind the right thoughts. Your mind is like a garden. What you feed it will grow. If you feed it with constant negativity, gossip, and fear-driven content, don't be surprised when weeds take over. But if you feed it with wisdom, gratitude, and positivity, your inner life will flourish. This means being intentional about what you consume. What books are you reading? What conversations are you having? What content are you scrolling through on your phone? Every input becomes a seed. Be careful about what you plant. Practical exercises for winning the battlefield of the mind. 1. Thought journaling. Spend 5 minutes each morning writing down the first thoughts that come to mind. Then challenge the negative ones with more empowering alternatives. 2. Daily affirmations. Choose 3 to 5 short, powerful statements to repeat each day, like, I am disciplined, I am growing, I choose peace. Speak them out loud until they begin to sink in. 3. Mental fasting. Take 1 day a week to fast from negative input. No gossip, no toxic news, no mindless scrolling. Notice how much clearer and calmer your mind feels. 4. Mindfulness practice. Spend a few minutes each day simply observing your thoughts without judgment. This trains you to see them as passing clouds, not absolute truths. Closing thought for this chapter. The greatest battles you will ever fight will not be against other people. They will be against your own thoughts. If you can master your mind, you can master your life. So start today. Notice your thoughts. Challenge the negative ones. Feed your mind with what is good, strong, and true. Because once you win the battlefield of the mind, controlling your mouth, your mood, and even your money becomes not just possible, but inevitable.
Chapter 5. Mental Discipline. If Chapter 4 was about recognizing that your mind is a battlefield, then this chapter is about building the discipline to win the war. Awareness is the first step, but without discipline, awareness fades into passivity. Discipline is the bridge between knowing and mastering. Think about it this way. Your mind is like a muscle. Left unused, it becomes weak, distracted, and easily fatigued. But trained with consistency, it becomes strong, sharp, and resilient. Mental discipline is the training program your mind needs in order to work for you, not against you. The cost of a distracted mind. We live in the most distracted era in history. Notifications, advertisements, endless scrolling, constant noise. Your phone alone is probably the single biggest enemy to your focus. And here's the problem. Every time you allow your attention to be hijacked, you reinforce a lack of control over your own mind. A distracted mind struggles to finish tasks, stay present in conversations, and make wise decisions. Worse, it becomes vulnerable to manipulation, from media, from marketing, even from toxic people. Without discipline, you're not thinking for yourself. You're reacting to whatever stimulus grabs your attention first. Discipline means training, not suppression. Some people think discipline means forcing yourself not to think certain thoughts, but that only makes them louder. Discipline is not about suppressing thoughts, it's about directing them. Imagine a river. If left unchecked, it floods everywhere, creating chaos. But with boundaries, that same river generates energy and power. Your thoughts are the same. Discipline doesn't kill them, it channels them. The power of focus. Focus is the ability to place your mind on something and keep it there long enough to produce results. Most people never finish books, projects, or even conversations because their attention jumps like a restless child. But the ones who succeed in life are not necessarily smarter. They're simply more focused. Here's the truth. You don't need more time. You need more focus. One focused hour is worth more than 10 distracted ones. Training your mind like a muscle. Discipline is built through daily practice, just like physical strength. If you want mental discipline, you must train it intentionally. Here are some ways. 1. Single tasking. Pick one task and finish it before moving on. Resist the temptation to multitask. Multitasking feels productive, but actually weakens focus. 2. Timed deep work. Set a timer for 25 to 50 minutes and dedicate yourself fully to one activity. No phone, no interruptions. When the timer goes off, take a short break. This strengthens your ability to concentrate for longer stretches. 3. Daily reading. Reading, especially challenging material, is like weightlifting for the brain. It forces your mind to stay engaged instead of skimming for quick dopamine hits. 4. Meditation or prayer. Stillness is training for the mind. Sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, or repeating a prayer teaches your thoughts to obey you instead of running wild. Self-talk and mental boundaries. Another aspect of mental discipline is controlling self-talk. The words you say to yourself are like background music for your life. If that soundtrack is constantly negative, your performance suffers. Discipline means noticing when your inner voice turns destructive and choosing to redirect it. Instead of, "I can't do this," replace it with, "This is hard, but I can grow through it." Instead of, "I'm terrible at this,"
Try, I'm learning, and every attempt makes me better. Set mental boundaries. Not every thought deserves your time. Some thoughts must be dismissed the moment they appear. If a thought drains your energy, belittles you, or traps you in fear, refuse to entertain it. Delayed gratification, the mark of a disciplined mind. One of the greatest indicators of mental discipline is the ability to delay gratification. This means choosing long-term benefit over short-term pleasure. Think about it. A disciplined mind says no to scrolling when it should be studying. It says no to overspending when it's saving for a goal. It says no to emotional outbursts when patience will produce a better outcome. Undisciplined people live for the now and pay for it later. Disciplined people invest in the later and reap peace, stability, and success. The link between discipline and freedom. Here's the paradox. The more disciplined your mind, the freer your life becomes. A disciplined mind isn't tossed around by every distraction, temptation, or emotion. It stays anchored. And that stability allows you to pursue what truly matters without being pulled off course. People think freedom means doing whatever you want, but real freedom means being in control of yourself so that outside forces don't control you. Mental discipline is the foundation of that freedom. Practical exercises to build mental discipline. 1. Morning mental warm-up. Spend the first 10 minutes of your day in intentional focus, reading, journaling, or visualizing your goals. This sets the tone for the rest of the day. 2. The distraction audit. Track how many times a day you get distracted by your phone, social media, or unnecessary interruptions. Then gradually reduce that number by setting clear limits. 3. Small wins practice. Build discipline by doing one small, non-negotiable task daily, like making your bed or drinking water first thing in the morning. Small acts of control build larger mental strength. 4. Weekly challenge. Each week, pick one area to exercise discipline. No sugar for 7 days, no unnecessary spending, or 30 minutes of reading daily. These short challenges build resilience and self-trust. Closing thought for this chapter. Mental discipline is not a gift you're born with. It's a skill you build. Every time you resist a distraction, every time you redirect a negative thought, every time you delay gratification, you're training your mind to serve you instead of sabotage you. Your mind can either be your best ally or your worst enemy. The choice is yours. With discipline, it becomes the strongest tool you'll ever own. Without it, it becomes the heaviest chain you'll ever carry. Start training today, and soon you'll discover the truth. When you control your mind, you unlock the power to control everything else in your life.
Chapter 6. Beliefs that build or break you. We've talked about the battlefield of the mind and the power of discipline. But now we need to go even deeper, into the hidden layer beneath your everyday thoughts. That hidden layer is your belief system. Your beliefs are like the software running in the background of your mind. You don't always see them, but they determine how you process everything. They shape how you see yourself, how you see the world, and what you think is possible. Here's the hard truth. You don't live out what you wish for. You live out what you believe. The power of belief. Beliefs are not just mental ideas. They're forces that drive behavior. If you believe you're destined to fail, you'll approach every challenge half-heartedly, expecting the worst. If you believe you're capable, you'll face that same challenge with energy, creativity, and resilience. History is full of examples of belief changing destiny. Athletes who believed they could push beyond human limits broke world records. Innovators who believed the impossible was possible invented things that changed the world.
But belief works in the opposite direction too. Many talented people go nowhere in life, not because they lack ability, but because they believe they can't. Where beliefs come from. Most of your beliefs didn't start with you. They came from childhood experiences, family, culture, teachers, or even random comments from people who barely knew you. If someone told you repeatedly, "You're not smart," or "You'll never succeed," those words may have planted limiting beliefs that still control you today. On the other hand, if someone encouraged you, those seeds of belief may have empowered you to rise higher. The question is, are your current beliefs building you up or breaking you down? Limiting beliefs versus empowering beliefs. Let's break it down. Limiting beliefs sound like, "I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. People like me never succeed. I'll always struggle with money. This is just who I am. I can't change." Empowering beliefs sound like, "I can learn anything I set my mind to. My past does not dictate my future. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. I am capable of creating wealth and stability. Change is possible, starting with me." One group chains you down, the other lifts you up. How beliefs shape your mouth, mind, mood, and money. Beliefs don't stay hidden, they show up everywhere. Mouth. If you believe you're unworthy, your words will reflect insecurity, self-deprecation, or constant apologies. If you believe you have value, your words will be confident and uplifting. Mind. Beliefs shape what thoughts you entertain. Limiting beliefs invite fear-based thoughts. Empowering beliefs invite solutions and possibilities. Mood. Beliefs color your emotions. A belief that life is against you will keep you discouraged. A belief that life is working for you will give you resilience. Money. Beliefs directly affect finances. If you believe money is evil or impossible to manage, you'll sabotage your financial growth. If you believe money is a tool for freedom and impact, you'll handle it with purpose. How to identify your beliefs. Here's a simple exercise. Write down the top 3 areas of your life you struggle with: relationships, health, money. Then ask yourself, what must I believe that keeps me stuck here? For example, if you always overspend, the belief might be, "I deserve to treat myself whenever I want." If you avoid challenges, the belief might be, "If I fail, I'm worthless." The key is to dig until you uncover the hidden belief. Once it's exposed, you can replace it. Replacing limiting beliefs. Replacing a belief is like renovating a house. You don't just paint over cracks. You dig out the old foundation and rebuild. Here's how. Challenge the evidence. Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? For example, is it really true that I'll always struggle with money? Probably not. You can find examples of people who turned their finances around. Gather new evidence. Look for proof that supports a more empowering belief. If you want to believe, "I can learn new skills," start small. Learn something simple, succeed, and use that as evidence to strengthen the belief. Affirm the new belief daily. Speak it out loud until your subconscious begins to accept it. I am capable. I am disciplined. I can change. Act in alignment. Beliefs solidify through action. If you believe you can grow, take steps that prove it. Action reinforces belief, and belief fuels more action. It's a cycle. Protecting your beliefs. Just as weeds invade a garden, limiting beliefs can creep back if you're not careful. That's why you must guard your mind. Watch who you spend time with. Negative people spread negative beliefs. Watch what you consume. If you constantly feed on fear-based media, your beliefs will shrink. Surround yourself with people, environments, and content that reinforce empowering beliefs. Practical exercises for belief transformation. 1. Belief inventory. Write down the top 10 beliefs you currently hold about yourself: money, relationships, and life. Label them as limiting or empowering. 2. Flip the script. For every limiting belief, write an empowering alternative. For example, I'm not disciplined, to I am building discipline daily. 3. Daily visualization. Spend 5 minutes imagining yourself living from the empowering belief. Feel it. See it. The brain begins to treat repeated visualization as reality. And 4. Proof journal. Keep a notebook of small wins that prove your empowering beliefs are true. Every success, no matter how small, becomes fuel for your new belief system. Closing thought for this chapter. Your beliefs are the foundation of your destiny. If you believe small, you'll live small. If you believe change is impossible, it will be. But if you believe in growth, discipline, and transformation, your life will expand to match your beliefs. Remember this: your beliefs either build you or break you. Choose carefully, because the story you tell yourself in your mind eventually becomes the story you live in real life.
Chapter 7. The Emotional Thermostat. If your mouth is the speaker of your life and your mind is the control tower, then your mood is the thermostat. It sets the climate for everything you do, everything you say, and every decision you make. Think about a thermostat in your home. It doesn't just reflect the temperature, it regulates it. Likewise, your mood doesn't just describe how you feel, it influences how you act, how others respond to you, and ultimately, the quality of your life. Most people let their moods control them. They wake up in a bad mood and let it ruin the entire day. They let one rude comment destroy their confidence, or one setback poison their motivation. But if you learn to take control of your mood, you stop being a prisoner of feelings and start being the architect of your atmosphere.
Chapter 8. The Ripple Effect of Emotions. Drop a stone into a pond, and you'll see ripples spreading far beyond the point of impact. Your emotions work the same way. They don't just stay inside you, they extend outward, touching the people around you, shaping the atmosphere in your home, workplace, and relationships. This is why controlling your mood isn't just about self-discipline. It's about responsibility. Whether you realize it or not, you carry an emotional influence wherever you go. The question is, are you sending out ripples of chaos or ripples of calm? You are an emotional influencer. Most people think influence comes only from words or actions, but your emotions are communicating even before you speak. A room can feel the moment someone walks in, whether heavy, tense, joyful, or light. That's emotional influence. Think of someone you know who's consistently negative. They don't have to say much. Their presence alone changes the energy of the space. Now think of someone with a warm, steady presence. They make others feel safe and hopeful just by being there. That's the ripple effect of emotions in action. The science behind emotional contagion. Psychologists call it emotional contagion. Humans naturally catch emotions from one another, like invisible echoes. Smiles trigger smiles. Anger triggers tension. Anxiety spreads like fire. This happens because our brains have mirror neurons, which cause us to unconsciously mimic the feelings of those around us. In other words, your mood isn't private, it's contagious. That's why leaders who panic spread panic, while leaders who stay calm during crisis inspire confidence.
Your emotions are not just personal, they're social. Home as ground zero. Nowhere is the ripple effect stronger than in your home. Your family absorbs your mood, often more than your words. A parent who carries stress home after work sets the emotional climate for the entire household. A partner who carries resentment poisons intimacy. But the reverse is also true. A calm, grateful, uplifting mood builds safety, trust, and joy in the home. When you regulate yourself, you gift peace to those you love. The workplace ripple. At work, emotions can be even more contagious. A frustrated boss spreads frustration to the team. A sarcastic coworker spreads cynicism. But someone who chooses patience and optimism can shift the entire culture of a workplace simply by refusing to contribute to negativity. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or faking happiness. It means choosing to approach challenges with solutions instead of complaints. It means bringing stability instead of adding chaos. Your emotional presence may be your greatest leadership tool, more powerful than your title or your skills. Emotions and money. Believe it or not, the ripple effect of emotions also affects your money. How? 1. Impulsive spending. Stress, boredom, or sadness can drive you to buy things you don't need. 2. Poor business decisions. Fear can make you play too small. Greed can make you take reckless risks. 3. Financial atmosphere at home. If money conversations are always filled with tension or anger, that atmosphere keeps financial stress alive. Your emotional state impacts how you handle money and how money flows in your life. A calm, disciplined mood fosters wise financial choices. A chaotic mood fosters financial instability. Breaking negative ripple cycles. If you've ever walked into a room and immediately felt tension, you've seen the ripple effect. But here's the good news. Just as negative ripples spread, so do positive ones. You can break toxic emotional cycles by refusing to absorb and reflect negativity. Instead, you anchor yourself in calm and choose to send out a different energy. Someone snaps at you, you respond with patience. Someone spreads fear, you respond with hope. Someone gossips, you redirect the conversation. This is how you stop emotional contagion and create new ripples. Choosing your emotional impact. Ask yourself, what do people feel after being around me? Do they leave drained or encouraged, heavy or lighter, defeated or inspired? Your goal is to become someone who elevates others simply by being present. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room to do this. You just need to be intentional about the atmosphere you carry. Remember, your energy introduces you before your words do. Practical exercises for positive ripples. 1. Daily emotional check-in. Ask yourself 3 times a day, what mood am I carrying right now? How is it affecting those around me? Adjust as needed. 2. Ripple reset ritual. Before entering your home, workplace, or an important meeting, take a moment to set your emotional thermostat. Choose the mood you want to bring with you. 3. Emotion substitution. When you feel a negative ripple forming, replace it with a constructive one. Example, turn worry into planning, anger into assertive calm, criticism into encouragement. Closing thought for this chapter. Your emotions are never neutral. They're either lifting others up or dragging them down. You're either calming storms or creating them. The ripples you create today will shape the people around you tomorrow. So take ownership of your emotional influence. Be the kind of person whose presence steadies the room, whose calm builds trust, whose joy sparks hope. Because when you control your mood, you don't just change your life, you change the atmosphere everywhere you go.
Chapter 9. Mastering Mood Swings. Life is unpredictable, and so are moods. One moment you're calm and motivated, and the next, something small, a harsh word, a delay, an unexpected problem, throws you off balance.
These sudden shifts are what we call mood swings. Everyone experiences them, but when your moods swing like a pendulum without control, your life feels unstable. You start the day with good intentions, but end it with regret. You promise patience, but lose your temper. You plan wisely, but spend recklessly. The goal isn't to eliminate mood swings altogether. They're part of being human. The goal is to master them, so they don't master you. The danger of mood-driven living. Here's the truth. When you're ruled by moods, you're unpredictable, and unpredictability destroys trust. In relationships, people never know which version of you they'll meet. At work, inconsistency damages your reputation. With money, moods lead to emotional spending, debt, and regret. An unchecked mood swing can undo weeks of progress in minutes. Think about the person who works hard to save money, then splurges during one emotional high. Or the person who builds trust in a relationship only to destroy it with one angry outburst. When your moods swing wildly, your stability vanishes. Why mood swings happen? Understanding the cause helps you control the effect. Here are some common triggers. 1. External circumstances. Traffic, delays, rejection, financial stress. 2. Internal states. Hunger, fatigue, or lack of rest amplify emotions. 3. Unresolved thoughts. Dwelling on offenses or fears creates emotional volatility. 4. Hormonal and biological factors. These are real, and while not always avoidable, they can be managed with self-care. Most mood swings happen because we're reacting automatically instead of responding intentionally. The power of emotional awareness. The first step to mastering mood swings is awareness. Too many people move through life unconscious of their shifts. They don't realize their mood changed until damage is already done. Here's a practice. Throughout the day, check in with yourself. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Where did this shift come from? Is this mood serving me or sabotaging me? Awareness creates space between emotion and reaction, and in that space lies your power to choose. Strategies to stabilize your mood. Let's talk tools. 1. Pause and breathe. When a sudden shift hits, stop. Take 3 slow breaths. This interrupts the automatic spiral. Name it, don't blame it. Label your mood without judgment. I'm feeling irritated. I'm anxious. Naming it reduces its grip. Shift your physiology. Move your body. Stand, stretch, walk, or change posture. Your physical state influences your emotional state. Redirect thoughts. Ask yourself, what's one empowering perspective I can choose right now? For example, instead of everything's ruined, try, this is frustrating, but it's not the end. Anchor habits. Create small, consistent rituals that stabilize you. Morning gratitude, journaling, prayer, or evening reflection. Anchors prevent extreme swings. Don't make big moves in bad moods. This rule cannot be emphasized enough. Never make major decisions during a mood swing. Don't quit your job in a rage. Don't end a relationship in a moment of frustration. Don't make financial choices while emotionally high or low. Bad moods distort reality, and good moods can make you overconfident. Wait until you're steady. Sleep on it. Decisions made in balance save you from regret. Building emotional range without losing control. Mastering mood swings doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means learning to experience emotions without being hijacked by them. Think of a skilled musician. They can play soft notes, loud notes, fast rhythms, or slow ones, but all within harmony. Likewise, you can feel joy, sadness, anger, or excitement, but within balance. Emotional maturity is not the absence of feelings, it's the ability to regulate them. Practical exercises for mastery. 1. Mood tracking journal. For 1 week, record your moods, what triggered them, and how long they lasted. Patterns will show you where you lose control. 2. Halt check. Before reacting, ask, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Many mood swings come from these simple states. Fix the root instead of exploding. 3. The reset list. Create a personal list of quick mood stabilizers, music, deep breathing, prayer, affirmations, or stepping outside. Use them whenever you feel a swing coming. 4. Accountability partner. Share your goal of mood mastery with someone you trust. Let them call you out when they see you spiraling. The link between mood swings and money. This book would be complete without connecting this to money. Emotional highs and lows often drive poor money habits. Feeling down? Retail therapy. Feeling excited? Overspending and celebration. Feeling anxious? Avoiding bills or financial planning. Mastering mood swings directly improves financial stability. When your mood is steady, your money decisions become rational instead of emotional. Closing thought for this chapter. Mood swings are natural, but they don't have to control you. You are not a slave to the ups and downs of emotion. With awareness, tools, and discipline, you can stabilize your inner climate and live with greater peace, consistency, and influence. Remember this: emotions are visitors, not masters. They can knock on the door, but you decide whether they stay. When you master your mood swings, you stop being a victim of feelings and start being the steady, grounded person others can depend on. And that steadiness becomes one of your greatest strengths in life.
Chapter 10. The Psychology of Money Control. If you've mastered your mouth, your mind, and your mood, it's time to tackle one of the most misunderstood areas of life: money. Money is not just numbers in a bank account. It's deeply psychological. How you think about money, how you feel about it, and how you react to it determines your financial reality. Many people struggle financially, not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they lack mental and emotional mastery over money. The truth is, your financial habits reflect your inner state. If your mind is chaotic, your mouth reckless, and your mood unstable, your money will be too. Money is emotional. Even though we think of money as logical, it's primarily emotional. Fear, guilt, shame, greed, and pride drive most financial decisions. Fear of scarcity makes people hoard or avoid investing. Guilt over spending leads to self-sabotage. Pride can make people overspend to impress others. Impulsivity fueled by mood swings leads to unnecessary purchases. The first step in controlling money is understanding that your emotions and beliefs about it have more influence than any strategy or formula. The mindset divide: scarcity versus abundance. Your financial life starts with your mindset. People generally operate in one of two mental frameworks. Scarcity mindset: there's never enough, I'll never get ahead, money is dangerous. Scarcity breeds fear, anxiety, and short-term thinking. People with this mindset often struggle to save, invest, or grow wealth because their decisions are reactive and fear-driven. Abundance mindset: resources are available. I can create value. Money is a tool, not a master. Abundance breeds discipline, creativity, and strategic thinking. People with this mindset make thoughtful financial decisions, invest wisely, and focus on long-term growth. Which mindset you hold determines how you manage every dollar. Controlling spending through awareness. Uncontrolled spending is often the result of unconscious behavior. The first step is awareness. Track your expenses for 1 month. Write down every purchase: coffee, snacks, subscriptions, impulse buys. You'll be surprised where your money really goes. Once you know where it's going, you can ask, is this spending aligned with my goals, or is it a reaction to emotion or habit? Awareness creates the pause necessary to make conscious choices. Linking money to mood and mind. Your moods and thoughts influence spending more than you realize. A stressful day may lead to retail therapy. A celebratory mood may lead to overspending. Negative self-talk may create self-sabotage, like, I don't deserve financial stability, so why try? The solution is to decouple emotions from financial decisions. Before making a purchase, ask yourself, am I buying this from clarity or from a temporary mood? Waiting 24 hours before significant purchases is a simple yet powerful habit. Building financial discipline. Just like mental and emotional discipline, financial control requires consistent practice. Here are key principles. 1. Budget with purpose. A budget is not a cage, it's a roadmap. Assign money to essentials, savings, and goals. Know where every dollar goes. 2. Automate savings. Make saving automatic. Remove the temptation to spend what you don't see. 3. Avoid emotional spending. Identify triggers for impulse purchases and create alternatives. Walk, call a friend, meditate. 4. Invest in growth. Don't just save, make your money work for you through investments, skills, or business opportunities. 5. Review regularly. Track progress weekly. Celebrate small wins and adjust habits as needed. The role of beliefs in financial success. Remember Chapter 6, Beliefs Control Outcomes. Limiting beliefs about money can keep you trapped. Common examples include, I'm bad with money, I'll never get out of debt, rich people are greedy. Each belief shapes behavior. To change your financial reality, you must first change your money beliefs. Replace fear with confidence, scarcity with abundance, and helplessness with strategy. Mind, mood, and mouth influence money. Controlling money is not just numbers, it's holistic. Mind, plan, analyze, and make strategic choices. Avoid impulsive decisions. Mood, don't let temporary feelings dictate financial behavior. A calm, disciplined mindset produces consistent results. Mouth, avoid complaining, arguing, or gossiping about money excessively. Words shape reality. Speak about money with clarity and purpose. When you align all three, mind, mood, and mouth, you gain financial control. Practical exercises for money mastery. 1. Expense journal. Track all expenses for a month. Highlight emotional triggers and unnecessary expenditures. 2. Financial affirmations. Repeat daily, I control my money. My money works for me. I am disciplined and abundant. 3. Goal-oriented budgeting. Assign money to goals, not just bills. Savings, investment, and education should have priority. 4. Cooling off rule. For purchases over a certain amount, wait 24 to 48 hours before buying. This prevents mood-driven decisions. 5. Financial literacy routine. Spend 15 minutes daily learning about money management, investment, or wealth-building strategies. Knowledge strengthens control. Closing thought for this chapter. Money is not just about numbers. It's about psychology. Your habits, beliefs, moods, and words all converge to determine your financial reality. Control your mind, regulate your moods, and speak with clarity, and you will naturally begin to control your money. Financial freedom is not a dream, it's the logical outcome of emotional and mental mastery applied to your finances. Master this, and you'll discover that money is not the problem. It's a reflection of your inner control. And when you control the inner world, the outer world, including your finances, follows naturally.